Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, and look at that, there's no snow effects this time. And as a result, I'm pretty sure the weather itself is actually much more nicer than before, so naturally speaking, that will get ourselves a nice glorious day nonetheless. So, yeah, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I am Duffy Duck here, and I'm Piglet here. We are from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos of course. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more of Let's Play of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games for the Nintendo Wii, specifically in Team Festival mode. So last time we managed to able to gun through day 11 all the way up to day 12, whilst the forms of day 11 we did manage to beat the likes out of Jet the Hawk in the forms of Snowbolt Cross. And today, we're about to begin through day 13, probably all the way to day 15 as well. So either way, like let's just say we'll go through day 13 first, and then day 14 afterwards, and then after that it will be day 15, and that will be pretty much about it when it comes to that specific edition. So, anyways, to begin with, on day 13, as you can see, we're going to be hitting back onto the forms of short track relay, except now with a full-fledged event. So even then, technically, we've already done this for about 2 times already, ever since during the forms of, well, obviously in a training session, and also same applies for compete against with, you know, E123 Omega, and now this is the 3rd time playing through short track relay, except now we need to go for the gold. Well, assuming if we're trying to be a little bit more, you know, skillful compared to the forms of how it does it on the training sessions once in a while. So, yeah, conveying enough though, this will be the last Olympic event in the Team Festival for able to go for the actual medals count, because after this, it's gonna be strictly go to the forms of the actual rivals thing coming up later, so either way, that was a pretty bad start. Yeah, because you somehow managed to give us a vowel for starters, so, but regardless of everything else though, Duffy, is the fact that we actually get that a little bit more progression more than ever will be, so. Anyways though, so today's day is the forms of the 27th of January today in 2020. Sadly, not much else to talk about this, honestly, apart from the fact that we actually did see the first ever movie clip on Sonic Movie recently, which appears to be I can't do this on my own kind of clip. And I was actually quite surprised about this, because either way, despite the fact that we've already got about a few more days left until the actual film was about to come out, or to be more specifically, I would say 19 or somewhat lesser amount of days left until the actual film is about to come out during that time. But we'll talk more about it whenever we get on to the next set of, you know, redo Let's Plays, including new Let's Plays here and there as well. But either way though, not now though, because either way though, we've only got a few days left until that film is about to release. So, but I digress though, so hopefully we were able to actually just get ourselves a nice little glorious gold medal for that particular, oh Christ, that was close. Because if we get stunned like that by hitting against for that wall, that will able to slow down a little bit. So, but regardless of everything else though, Defi, we did manage to dominate nonetheless, despite with all these little curves that you have to put up with. So, in this case, we got ourselves our new record. So, top notch that it goes, especially noticeable how the fact that then again, this is the final time we're going to be competing on gold medals, or especially noticeable with the actual medals themselves during the actual Olympic events, because otherwise it all goes on to just strictly, as I mentioned this before, until whenever we come across into the next final 3 rival battles that we actually compete against with, well, one for later on in day 13, and especially noticeable with day 15 and 16. So either way, that we'll discuss more onto those and during at some point and during later on today, and especially noticeable until this Wednesday, which I probably should say we're about to talk about some more details that's been happening during the forms of Mario Kart Tour, despite the fact that, well, Mickey Mouse does not even talk about that too much, but either way, we'll discuss on that right about now. Or before we do that actually, let's hit on to the forms of the next Dream event, and that appears to be Dream Ski Cross, which technically we've already seen this before, ever since the honorable mentions during the forms of our finale portion of the singles event, because this is the only event that has been completely ignored in the individual singles festival mode, because we figure we might as well show that off from that particular time. But now in the Team Festival mode, we can now able to actually see you know, Dream Ski Cross, which either way, except this time around though, is actually based on team, instead of like compete against for, you know, just individual players. And just like the forms of Dream Snowboard Cross as well as Dream Alpine, and I believe also, as far as I'm aware, if I can recall correctly, I think that's as far as I can say about this for the most part though, so we have to like, you know, competing with the actual combination time. So anyways, let's get on with this, and once again we need to go on to Mario Circuit for the final time for this particular playthrough. So either way, you know how it works. Basically, you just have to go for all sorts of tricks and all that stuff, and what makes things a little bit easier in this particular version of this particular event, more than the likes of how it does it on the singles version, is that I feel like the actual team festival or the team version of this event is actually a lot easier to able to win a gold than the likes of how it does it on the singles, in my opinion, despite because of how the fact that in the singles version of that specific this event right there, sometimes the actual rubber banding AI can always attempt to catch up to you at one point, especially if you keep on like screwing things up a notch and then you have to like reset yourself from the very beginning or something. Maybe it's probably because of how the fact that we have no idea what we're trying to talk about, so. And yes, the new record, as you can see, specifically in the team festival or the team version of this event right there, in order to actually just to beat 10 minutes, is the fact that you need to be extremely fast on. So either way, yeah, that's as far as I can say about it. Until whenever we get to day 15, that we'll get something new out of it, especially noticeable on day 16, before the closing ceremony is about to approach. So I'm quite surprised actually, because either way, despite the fact we actually got ourselves about a few more days left until the actual closing ceremony is about to end, specifically in this game that we're talking about here, and as a result, that we actually almost nearly towards the end of this game's Let's Play until when it's finished. Now I think, spoiler warning for those who have not noticing at this point, this particular Let's Play will be finished and joined at some point in this Wednesday, which is roughly exactly the same time as when Mario Kart Tour's next tour is about to be able to start. And apparently it's going to take place in the forms of, let's just say, a revisit to Paris tour once again, except, well, it is now called a Valentine's tour, which either way, and same applies for that, they also brings us to the forms of the new character onto that specific tour, at least as far as I'm noticing it so far, and it appears to be by the forms of, let's just say, a winged angel Baby Peach somehow, which is more likely a cosmetic costume differences between, you know, normal Baby Peach than the likes of the winged, you know, the winged angel Baby Peach somehow. We don't know exactly what her true name was though, until whenever we discuss more about it, or to be more accurate, we'll let Tiana will mention more on that during the forms of her continuation Let's Play of Kirby's Return to Dreamland, because as far as I'm aware, there's not much else to discuss, especially noticeable that maybe, just maybe, that Mickey Mouse might actually mention more about it until, at this point in time, is the fact that Mickey Mouse is almost going to be finishing up with, you know, the Super Mario Kart Let's Play and stuff like that. Although, before we get to that particular point, because, let's just go to say this right now, we ended up in curling for the actual next rival, so, oh boy. Clackety-clack, when it comes to curling, we are the best there is. Clackety-clack, and we're going to prove it. Yeah, he always says that every time on that specific line of dialogue here. Okay, if you couldn't tell already, this is actually our jump cut for this point because, well, if you couldn't tell already, this is our second attempt on this recording session on that specific event. Although, probably because of how the fact that, well, we'll discuss more on that later whenever we dive right into this particular event. So here we go with Team Drybones as the actual rival team. So yeah, here's the thing about this event right there. We've already done this before already in the actual Team Festival mode, to say the least. However though, you know with the rubber banding AI that we mentioned about this a lot, well, now you have to deal with it a lot more than often compared to the forms of how it does it on the normal regular events this time around, because well, obviously, that if you somehow lose to the forms of Team Dry Bones, you can't continue to day 14 and beyond, because you have to purposely win in order to progress. So, yeah, because the only thing about this is the fact that, well, it kind of does the same thing for, you know, Stone 1, and especially noticeable, likely, just most likely in Stone 1, that, you know, Team Dry Bones does absolutely pathetic on that specific turn. But then again, much like the main event on curling, is that, well, it's all when it gets to Stone 2 all the way up to Stone 4. Basically, that's how the rubber banding AI, or the AI, can sometimes feel a lot more strict for the most part, because they always know about the actual strategy. We do understand about the fact that that's how the actual emphasis on this event can be summarized as it's a lot more strategy based, more than luck. Well, usually we say both, because usually skills strategy based is all about just, well, just trying to able to figure out what we're supposed to do. And then as for luck dependent, it's all down to computer players, because luckily for human players, assuming if you play multiplayer, then you have no issues from here. But as a result, if you're trying to able to compete against with the computer player, you never know what's gonna come. Which either way though, it kinda does the same issue as the forms of how it does it on Sochi 2014 version, which at least even then though, at least the actual throwing adjustment still works in this particular version of curling, but aside from everything else though, it's just the actual AI can sometimes really mess you up. Yeah, especially noticeable when we get to that very, very darn close point on that specific end. And that's the reason why we say that this is our second attempt on this particular match against with Team Dry Bones, because as a result, on the first attempt of this particular recording session, by the way, for those of you not know, we somehow got massive screw over during the forms of the first end against with Team Dry Bones, because what happens is, we were supposed to be able to knock down that particular yellow stone beforehand, but sometimes though, the plans didn't work out due to the forms of how the fact that, well, two of those yellow stones of Team Dry Bones' stones, they just managed to got very lucky, and as a result, on the first end, they got 2 points, and as far as we can able to continue things on end 2, then sometimes our skills, or especially notable with the strategy, doesn't seem to work well enough. So as a result, yeah, we have to restart that particular event all over again. And also as a result, this is easily, without doubt, at least in my opinion, one of the worst rival matches of all time. Probably because of how the fact that, you know, with the rubber banding, well, I wouldn't say rubber banding, but it's more accurately just the AI skills most of the time, because the fact of the matter is, this particular game has no difficulty select, at least as far as I've noticing this already. But apart from all that side of things though, Piglet, is the fact that you always have to rely on strategy based more than anything. And also as a result of this matter though, is that, well, it does have a difficulty select on the original Olympic Games, specifically on the DS version. That could be also the same applies for you know, Olympic Winter Games on the DS version as well. Those two games does have difficulty select, and the same applies for the 3DS installments here and there as well. But the fact of the matter is though, is the fact that you never know until when the computer players might actually go and decide to able to actually just to make you lose at times. So, yeah, as a result though, this is without doubt one of the most frustrating parts about the Team Festival from my knowledge anyway, because we remember playing on this back in 2010, that we got so much more butt kicks more than ever will be, because we off by, well, let's just say 1 point most of the time. And then every once in a while though, is the fact that, well, as far as during the phones of 2013 and beyond, we have no issues from here. But the fact of the matter is though, if you're first time playing for this event, good luck, because otherwise you might as well get screwed over by the forms of some random computer players' turns and what have you, which as a result, yeah. And also the only thing I don't like about this rival match compared to the rest is that it took way too long. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, luckily there's actually a skip button, so that way you can able to skip the entirety of the computer players' turn. But aside from all that though, this might be actually be one of the longest, well, in between the forms of, let's just say the actual rival battle against with, Team Dry Bones aside, well, at least you have to compete against with 4 Dry Bones all in one team. And aside from all that stuff, that day 13 is by far one of the most, I would say, the longest days in the whole entire game, assuming if you're on Team Festival mode. But aside from all that stuff though, yeah, let's just hope and pray if we're able to actually just make ourselves a glorious victory at the end. You know what, let's just skip this. Yes! Hoo-hoo! Thank God, we don't have to go for that specific sudden death matches or anything like that. Because if it goes like one-on-one between our team compared to Team Dry Bones, it will be a very, very drag-on game. Like, let me tell you that right now. I'm probably not gonna able to go for all that stuff again, unless if we play this in our own time, just to rank up some more star tokens in our own time, which we're probably not gonna do that, I have to be honest here. But I digress, this is now over, so thank the Lord. Although, conveniently enough though, we've only got 2 points out of that though, so it's a little bit meh, but oh well though, beg yourselves can be choosers I suppose. We're not exactly doing that great when it comes to curling in general, but nonetheless though, now let's move on to day 14, where just like the Forms of how it does it on the singles festival mode, is that, well, there's gonna be some shopping day, so let's just see what some new items they're gonna be brings us to on that specific shops in mind, and hopefully rank up some more star tokens as currency, and just to check out what items they actually brings us to, so. And I think this might actually be the last time we're going to be seeing the shopping mode on this entire Let's Play, because, well, we're actually getting pretty close towards the end of, you know, Team Festival mode and such. And I do apologize for the actual awkward dialogue for that specific awkward pauses most of the time, because I keep belching most of the time, which I know I found is a little bit disgusting, mind you, but hey, this on the upside though, we got ourselves the next statue structure, which appears to be a question mark block from the Mario universe, and also we actually get ourselves a 10% off discount for the music shop, and also the upgraded version of that specific card, which is now the Platinum card, and also, believe it or not, we have ourselves a Christmas tree, which is a little bit redundant, but because of how the fact that this game did came out during October 2009, so expecting that during a 2 months time back then, they did manage to reveal the Christmas tree on that specific time. So anyways, let's see what we got for new music selections. We got one from New Super Mario Bros. And another one from Mario Kart Wii, Coconut Mall, and also same applies to those 2 tracks from Sonic Adventure, which is Emerald Coast and also Windy Valley. So yeah, so amazing to be able to listen to those musics again. Speaking of Sonic Adventure actually, is the fact that I've noticed I've heard some rumors, well I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm really hoping that the Sonic Adventure remake will be on its way during the forms of that specific development cycle, which if that's been happened, especially noticeable for that announcement, we could potentially try to able to do our, let's just say, quote-unquote replay of Sonic Adventure Let's Play, but except playing it on the Dreamcast version, which we'll probably need to work on more on that, because otherwise though, we're still a little bit too early for that predictions at the moment, and plus we still need to get these tons of Let's Plays finished and done and over with before you get on with a few things at a time, because we're not going to do multiple Let's Plays all at once during the actual jumbled mess with the uploading schedules on that part, but still. Yeah, I guess that's probably true for that regard. So let's just purchase some more items during the forms of the actual sports shop, like, I don't know, some decals and especially banners and stuff, which we might also purchase any kind of random decals or anything like that. Specifically, those 2 iconic moments, such as the actual 16-bit Sonic's model, as well as the 8-bit Mario model, which I totally get it because of how the fact that the reason why they bring those models there to the decals part, because that was before when Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games exist, well, for Mario and Sonic games anyway. They did manage to offer us the forms of the 1964 events based off on the retro style, like, you know, we got 8-bit sprite of Mario and 16-bit sprite for Sonic the Hedgehog and stuff, so yeah, which come up as a little bit, I don't know, odd at times for most people's sakes. So anyways, let's purchase some of those costumes, specifically some suits, which are Mario and Luigi, Wario and Yoshi. I think to access to those, if I'm assuming correctly, that you have to like players though during new forms of Team Festival mode or something? I don't know, I haven't really looked upon that much in terms of unlockable systems in this game sometimes, but anyway, so what you can do with the actual suits that we totally forgot to show you guys about this is that if you're trying to select the Mario suit, like we got ourselves a Mario Me here, then, well, you'll be dressed up as the entire Mario suit. So even then, that could be also the same applies for, you know, for the future games like London 2012, Sochi 2014, and Rio 2016, except Tokyo 2020 because, you know, there's no Mii's to be playable in that game this time around, so sorry Waluigi fans, we could have able to actually get ourselves the Waluigi suit, but unfortunately though, you guys have to wait for it until whenever we do a redo Let's Play of, you know, Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games, for the better. So yeah, that concludes day 14, and we'll jump right into day 15, which not only does it brings us to 2 dream events, but also that according to what Toad is saying, is the fact that one of those dream events can sometimes usually takes place in a Bowser location and a Dr. Eggman location. So we already know about Dream Short Track already because that takes place in Egg Factory from Sonic Riders. But the newest one in the lineup, as you can see right there, we have ourselves Dream Ice Hockey. So either way, let's hit into this. And once again, we have to use the nunchuck and the Wii Remote combination, so that way it just makes ice hockey controls a lot easier. So, and this takes place in Bowser Castle, which is to be more specifically the Mario Kart Super Circuit version of that specific Bowser Castle, because, well, there's also that particular familiar music that we're going to be hearing in just a moment. But first off, let's see who's going to be on the actual finals matches and stuff. So we actually compete against with Team Shadow, so now I figure we might be able to place Wario as a goalie again, so that way it just makes things a lot easier for the goalie player. So hopefully it will make us a chance to able to noticing this, so yeah, let's hop into this. In fact, this actually gives us a hint during the forms of the previous staff credit sequence when you're trying to finish up with Festival mode for the first time, specifically in a singles version of that specific event. Then you might actually notice about the fact that we actually now finally come across into this event, or in this case for that specific location, during that time. So yeah, Bowser somehow he ended up now at his own castle, despite the fact that he was actually teamed up with, you know, Shadow, Knuckles, and Amy, so yeah, I want you to listen very carefully for that music right there, because you guys should know what do I explain about this. Yeah, you notice that particular tone right there, especially noticeable with that music melody and stuff? Yeah, that's heavily borrowed from Mario Kart Super Circuit because of that specific, the music section right there. So, yeah, anyways though, for Dream Ice Hockey, it plays exactly like how it did on the forms of the normal Ice Hockey, except with, you know, in addition with having like Mario Kart item system, as you can see, and also as you can see what Bowser's doing, he performs a special move. So naturally speaking, that in order to actually just to win these kinds of events like this, well, we need to able to utilize the special moves most of the time before we can able to actually score our goal. However though, it makes things a little bit tricky this time around because as you can see on these little drop shadows, as you can see right there, we actually now introduce into ourselves these forms. And every time you come across into those question mark circles, this actually affects something it's used for. Like specifically, for example, if we grab like a question mark coin, where this allows us can sometimes either adds up to your 2 points count, or sometimes something else, which unfortunately we don't have that much time to discuss upon because obviously we're not doing that great in terms of this particular event so far, probably because of how the fact that, well, we swear to god, the nunchuck is gone so off again, which I'm hoping that doesn't screw us up until in the second period, because yes, like the normal ice hockey event, is that once again we have to go through 2 periods and stuff. Alright, sometimes every time you do the actual face-off parts during new forms at the beginning of the actual periods, sometimes either the Thwomp or the Piranha Plants were able to actually interact with you during new forms of the face-off section, so yeah, something to keep that in mind, especially noticeable how the fact that, oh no, Hopefully we're not gonna let them score that goal, because otherwise, if we ended up with 1-0, then we'll have to do some sort of a sudden death kind of syndrome. Like, you have to get an extra point, and then the actual game itself will be already over by that time. So, yeah, that probably begs the question. And what in the world is going on here? If I recall correctly, I'm guessing it's probably due to our nunchuck has gone, like, pretty awkward today. Yeah, as you can see right there, 2 points for a goal. So naturally speaking, if we manage to get one of these, then we're able to actually just, well, get 2 points every time we score the actual thing. And, what? Can you move? Can you move? Oh, for God's sake, the nunchuck is broken. Nunchuck, you betrayed us! Nunchuck, you betrayed us after all these... I have a lot of working stuff for you, but... sometimes, every now and then, though, nunchucks didn't last for a long time. Even back in the day, that was. That's annoying. Especially compared to that. To, let's just say in Super Mario Galaxy and stuff like that. Or even Galaxy 2, as a result, has that a lot of, like... we had a lot of nunchuck issues throughout the years at this point. Especially ever since, as I mentioned this before, since Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. I'm hoping we will not come across into that issue ever again. Until whenever we decide to do the next set of new Let's Plays in the future, specifically any forms of Epic Mickey from the Nintendo Wii, because we feel like trying to do with that particular Let's Play at some point, probably because of how the fact that eventually, until when it gets to a point until November this year, it will be a decade old, which I can't believe time itself does manage to fly by. Yeah, which is probably true for that regard, despite how most people seem to despise Epic Mickey as the actual game series. Well, we don't mind it at all. At least we still have not touched upon the original game yet, but we did manage to complete ourselves Epic Mickey Power of Illusion for the 3DS, because it almost plays out very similar to the Illusion games on the Mega Drive era, which I'm pretty sure that might be far from the case, except where it has like the paintbrush abilities and stuff like that. So anyways, now let's head back onto Dream Short Track for the final time, and hopefully we'll go for the first place medal again, except with a Mario characters themed. So, well, despite the fact that, well, we can able to still face off against with the majority of the Sonic players, as you can probably guys can clearly tell right there. I'm not sure which players is actually missing for the part of the team, like we're actually missing on 4 players as a result. So we might as well look it up until whenever we get on to the actual final conclusion of this Let's Play at some point during this Wednesday. So, yeah, that begs the question for that part. Alright, here we go. Alright, off to a good start already, so hopefully we would able to actually just use the occasional speed boost here and there, so that way we can able to not slow down every once in a while. Make sure to dodge a lot of those hazards here and there, and oh, how come that? Oh, because he has his Starman, that's why. Okay, fair enough. Hopefully it just performs a lot of new tricks here and there. Okay, something's worth mentioning is the fact that, well, unfortunately to tell you for this point, guys, especially if you're the Smash community out there, unfortunately though, whenever we decide able to finish this Let's Play, unfortunately until when it gets to a point until this Wednesday, Byleth, the character from Smash the Fire Emblem 3 Houses as a fighter, will be released by that time, which, God, why does he have to make an appearance? Well, I don't know why it is, but for some reason our videos counts, specifically for this entire Let's Play so far, has got a lot of dislikes most of the time, probably because we keep on mentioning their name on 3 Houses as far as I'm aware. But we'll promise you guys, we're probably not going to mention about it right now, because I don't think most people seem to care about Byleth as a character from Fire Emblem to join in the Smash, which, yeah, because, you know, we had too much emphasis on Fire Emblem at this point, so... But yeah, let's not mention about that right now, because we're actually going to be focusing on this from now on, especially noticeable that, you know, we're pretty much almost done with this, basically. So, yeah, everything's all it goes altogether. So, because compared to the original Olympic Games, especially like, oh, no, don't slow down just yet. Especially you don't want to give up on this right now, especially, oh no, who's in the Starman, by the way? I think it's Waluigi. Oh yes, it's Waluigi. I'm guessing he's probably give us a payback after not selecting him in the actual team. or probably because of how the fact that, and we just got Lightning Strike, and the item block is covering up Yoshi's view. Kinda weird to be honest, but hey, at least we did manage to get ourselves a nice first place medal, and another new record, so hey, how about that then, huh? And I think fundamentally though, we still got one last thing to do in day 15, which is pretty obvious at this point, but we'll save that one if we get towards that, so... yeah, everything else should be a lot more expected at this point. We should probably be dominated at this rate in time, so there's not much else to discuss upon, so... I think in order to actually get the emblem for, you know, Dream Ice Hockey, it's like, use 5 special moves in that particular, ice hockey match or something. Which, it might be seems the case, mind you, but until whenever we get to, day 16, which should be on, this Wednesday in particular, then we'll discuss more about it whenever we go on to the true final Dream events of, you know, the entire game as of lately, so... anyways, we got ourselves another rifle, and it's always going to be the exact same spots as the forms of how it does it on the singles version, so for instance, here we have Ski Cross, with Eggman Nega, so ha 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 ha. Oh, pardon me, I just remembering your performance in Dream Ski Cross from the day before yesterday, you see. Why don't we get together for a little ski cross match, although of course we already know what the outcome will be, ha ha ha. So of course that, like before, that we need to face off against with Eggman Nega in Ski Cross on the exact same day, in day 15. However though, just like the forms of Jet the Hawk, that I'm pretty sure Eggman Nega is going to be starting at the actual top of the actual starting line. And look at that, it's all nice and shiny today. So at least I appreciate about the forms of their different weather, because we haven't got that specific weather effect for a very, very long time. Yeah, because for the most part though, we're getting sick of the forms of cloudy weather effects on that particular in-game graphics as far as I'm aware. So anyways though, the actual goal remains the same, so basically we need to aim for first place, to be expected. Although, just like the forms of Snowboard Cross, it's the fact that obviously that most of these computer players on our team will basically becomes left behind, because, well, obviously we are controlling the main player, which is the forms of Mario, of course. So hopefully we would able to beat Eggman Nega for the final time in this game. So I'm not sure what to be expected if we're able to show you guys off with the London 2012 installment, but hopefully we'll get enough time whenever we're able to actually do something like this. So yeah, that's about it basically. So anyways, let's go ahead and just keep on going through curve to curve and all that stuff. And hopefully just get ourselves some nice little great ratings on the actual tricks to perform. And the last jump up ahead, and, well, we are basically dominating it. We could have expected if we were able to use the special move at the end, but seems somehow we've only used the special move at least only just once in the beginning, so whatever though, at least we still managed to conquer it nonetheless, so... and we actually got ourselves 4 points, which is top notch and great. And that's as far as we can notice about this. So either way, yeah, looks like Yoshi's in 3rd place for that particular position, so... then again, there's no point for getting an emblem for that, because we've already technically got this ever since in a singles festival mode, so... again, not much else to say. So, yeah, that pretty much takes care of day number 15. So yeah, so far so good. Despite with the actual nunchuck issues during the forms of Dream Ice Hockey and such. And now we hit on to day 16, where not only do we come across into the forms of another 2 set of Dream events, but the last final event to show off in the entire Let's Play, which is Dream Curling, as you can see. But unfortunately, for the sake of time, we're gonna have to end things off at this point here. So join us until Wednesday for our Let's Play of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games. Is that here we go on to day 16, and just end the game off from here. So see you guys on Wednesday. Later, fellas.